This video has a lot of Easter eggs. I show 100 connections and give more than 100 tips throughout this 25-minute video. If you're a DIYer or young contractor and you want to up your game for your French drain or your underground buried downspout system, this is the video for you. Enjoy. We're working on a house where we have all the sprinkler mains going down the side. We got communication lines. We got so many things that are in our way. This is going to be a great job for the 3.5-inch pipe. The 3.5-inch pipe is going to thread itself through all those utilities and sprinkler lines. We're going to get a nice slope, nice pitch. We're going to maintain that while we're going through all these obstacles. Now, a 4-inch pipe is not doing that. That was 3.5-inch pipe. Pulled it under a couple sprinkler mains, a couple of sprinkler lines. What a difference. A 4-inch line outside diameter of a 4-inch corrugated pipe is 4 3/4 inches. We didn't have to take that sprinkler system completely apart. We didn't have to dismantle all those lines. And what's nice is we've maintained that perfect slope the whole way. Always have your downspout pipe come down. You see where the blue screen is? You want to make sure you're touching that blue screen. You want the downspout to stick in past the seam where the top meets the housing. it helps when you have somebody to make sure the leaf filter and riser are straight when you're backfilling. If you have that luxury where you're working with somebody, work as a team on that part. Quick, easy, fast connections. Then, so you don't lose your water pressure on these solid lines, you want to tape up that coupler. You don't want excessive leaking. Always take your downspout line out where the grade starts to fall, because you want to empty that downspout line. If your pop-up emitter is lower than the rest of the line that goes uphill, this line can never hold water. But if you stop and put the pop-up too short, you need this fall to empty the line. When people say my line holds water, I know they didn't run it out far enough. Always put some pea pebble underneath your catch basin. Dig out the hole where the catch basin goes and over dig it, because you don't want the pea pebble to lift the basin up. Now you'll lose your slope. If the sump that you dig for the catch basin is an oversized hole, your catch basin should literally levitate. There should be this area between the catch basin and your sump pit that you need to fill with pea stone. The pea stone will roll in there and it'll fill that void with little effort. That's the right way to install a catch basin. Always step on the line before you start backfilling with dirt. Otherwise the dirt will roll under the pipe and you'll lose your perfect slope. We're doing downspouts and a French drain. The men are installing a 4-ounce non-woven filter fabric. This is a non-woven geotextile filter fabric. It has been double punched to increase its flow rate. In order to meet the DOT's required tensile strength, it had to have a tighter knit. This killed the flow rate, so we no longer will use a DOT-approved non-woven geotextile filter fabric. Having said that, what we do use is what they used to use several years back. The only thing we've changed is we have the manufacturer double punch it. That increases its flow rate. And it also lets the grass roots grow down into the system through gravity and capillary action. Our French drains can take in surface water, not just subsurface water. This is what it looks like when you core a storm drain catch basin. Patrick took a shovel, put the handle inside the end of the corrugated pipe. That's how you unroll a roll of corrugated pipe by yourself. Quick, easy connect of the pop-up. Do not tape that. You want to keep that just the way you saw it. When the water comes all the way down to the pop-up, because we took the pop-up all the way down to where the ground broke, we have a lot of fall. We're going to empty the line. The little bit of water left in this pop-up, it's going to leach right there at the connection after the rain event. It's going to move all the bulk water, and the little bit that's in the pop-up will drain into this bed of pea stone that we're going to put around the pop-up emitter. We use Y's and 45-degree elbows to make these connections. Quick connect, everything goes together. Easy, quick. These are a great fit. That is a 3.5 to 4 increaser in this case. Just a great hold. If you don't have a 6-man crew where you can have people standing on the pipe, holding it with shovels, keeping it in place, you definitely want to use these quick connect clips. We can get the 3.5-inch pipe under sprinkler lines. Makes it a lot easier to work with. These quick connect clips keeps everything tight, straight. Every time a pipe zigs and zags, you lose a little bit of that velocity. So the straighter you can keep your pipe, the higher your flow rate's going to be. This is a lot easier than using zip ties or any other method. If your system meanders, you're going to need to go every 18 inches. If your system is nice and straight, every 24 inches. Right now is a good time for me to show you this before the guys cover it up. We got 2 cleanouts. Why do we want cleanouts? You always want cleanouts on the high side of your French drain. That way you can run a jetter or a garden hose. You can flush it out. So these are cleanouts. One has a turf restrictor plate, the other doesn't. Because if we locate the one, we'll be fine. Now we got the quick connect clips holding this together nice and straight. We go from 3.5 to 4 inch as we tie into our 4-inch main that heads into the storm drain. Super easy to connect 3 to 4 with our increaser. That's the proper way of installing the 3.5 to 4-inch increaser. Beautiful. So we started out with 2 3.5-inch lines because we had to stay shallow. So we didn't have to dig as deep. If you have a 4-inch line, the outside diameter of that 4-inch corrugated line is 4 3/4 inches. So you got to have more depth when you're trying to bury a 4-inch line. Here, these 3.5-inch lines, look how shallow we are. We start about 7 inches deep, that's it. Then we just start sloping it to the city storm drain. There's a little bit of slope in the yard. The water just couldn't find its way through the turf grass. Now we're going to give it this beautiful pipe and stone combined French drain for the water to drain down in, and it moves really fast through the pipe and the stone. We take the 2 3.5-inch lines. Now we're going into our 4-inch main. Right here we ran into a situation where we have a brick ledge. You can see there's 2 elbows bent to get by that brick ledge. You got to work with that. You see this a lot. That's why I want to show it. You know, you want to get your leaf filter positioned to where it looks decent on the house. Sometimes you really got to work at this. Now there's a cement footing underneath this, so we know it's not going to be settling. And we're trying to get perfect in an imperfect world. Sometimes it just ain't there. This 3.5-inch pipe is really nice for pulling under sprinkler lines. If this was a 4-inch line, we'd have to cut that. We'd be digging a lot more. There'd be more excavation. There's basically 50% more labor when you install a 4-inch line versus 3.5 for yard drains. Everything connects quick, easy, fast. So we tape up the bottom of the riser, and then we tape up right here where we connect to the 3.5 inch pipe with the not quite a 90. We do not tape where the leaf filter goes inside the riser. You don't need to. The leaf filter acts as a male going into a female receptacle. It's not going to leak unless your riser's too short. I've seen that, where your riser's too short and you don't have the right slope, and now the water will leak out at the riser at the leaf filter. In a case like that, you need to increase the height of your riser. Quick, easy, fast connect. Extremely strong connection. Barbed. It's not coming apart. We want to put some of the plumbing tape on it. We don't want it to leak. We don't want to lose water pressure. We want all that sediment to make it to the catch basin. If you're losing water pressure right here at the connection, you might end up with some sediment building up in the line before it drops into your catch basin. You don't want that. That's it. Do not tape the pop-up. Never tape the pop-up. We have a lot of fall. That's why we went this far. We have a lot of fall. We're going to empty this entire line up here because we took it all the way down to here. If we would have put the pop-up here, this line would hold water. Right now, the little bit of water that's left in this pop-up, it'll leak right there at that connection point. That's what we want. We'll put pea stone around it. That's what we want. We're going to wire 2 downspouts together right here. These are 2 3.5 inch downspouts. We're going to wire them together and take them to 1 pop-up emitter. Because this is a downspout line, we're going to use some good plumbing tape. Super stretchy, super sticky. It's made for this. You could use it in the rain. You could use it in the snow. It doesn't matter what temperature. This stuff holds. This stuff is amazing. This stuff's going to stand the test of time. All of the systems that we put in are lifetime. We tell the homeowners that we're installing for that this system will last your lifetime. All the components that you see here, they're made out of HDPE. They last forever. This stuff doesn't biodegrade. In the freeze and thaw and the shifting of the ground, it doesn't crack. It's very pliable. Make sure everything's in place when you're taping things. Check to make sure that your leaf filter and riser are nice and straight. When you go to tape this Y on, if you tape it on and then that's crooked, it's going to be hard to pivot that pipe. Our pipe's really thick, so it's not going to twist like that. It's not like your cheap Home Depot or Lowe's big box store pipe. Always cut a real small hole in the fabric and then just pull the pipe through. It'll form a gasket. It'll form a really good seal around the pipe. We got to go under all these sprinkler lines. We wouldn't be able to do this with a 4-inch pipe. So we just serpentined around sprinkler line, around sprinkler mains, around the valve clock control wires, and the valve box itself. Pretty amazing. Nothing's easier, faster, and stronger than these systems that we're putting together. We're digging out a sump pit for a catch basin. It's going to be inside the French drain. We had so many sprinkler mains and sprinkler lines and valve boxes. And that's the norm, guys. If you're putting in a system and you got a sprinkler system, you're doing a whole house roof runoff and some French drain, you're going to get into plenty of sprinkler lines. Quick, fast, easy to connect. Right now it's easy to tape. Doesn't matter if it's wet. Doesn't matter if there's snow. This tape is going to work. Super sticky, super stretchy. So we have a solid downspout line and 3.5. It's in the white. Then we have a 4-inch main where we have a 3.5-inch French drain on this side of the yard and a 3.5-inch double piped French drain across the back of the yard coming together right here. We go into a 4-inch main and go right into the storm drain. We're cementing in a piece of culvert pipe. It's dual wall, 4-inch culvert pipe. We're cementing that in. We cored and tapped that storm drain. That's what it means. Went ahead and cored out the concrete, slid a pipe in, we cemented that in, that's the tap. When we dump the stone in here, it's going to try to move these pipes all over the place. So we're going to connect them with our quick connect clips, hold them together really nice. Now we can control it much easier when we're pouring in all the stone. Right now we're setting the pipes. We have them on a perfect grade. We want to keep them that way. We want them to be as straight as we possibly can make them. We don't want them, you know, veering left to right. It just slows down the flow of water. Quick, fast, easy, strong. These are strong. They do not come apart. We had a lot of prototypes. Believe it or not, there was a lot of development in such a simple part. I'm over here filming easy DIY, and Pat's got a bloody knuckle. So Patrick noticed that there was something wrong right here when we were putting the pipes together with the quick connects. He noticed right away that we lost our perfect slope right here. Something was off. You see that when you use these quick connect clips. See how straight everything is with those quick connect clips? Right here, he immediately could sense something was off. Obviously, this is the builder's burial ground. You're going to find everything. Always something. Now, if it wasn't for the quick connect clips that Patrick's putting on the system that pulls the pipes together, makes them work as one, we would have never found that 2x4 that was buried right there, causing a bump in the pipe. We may have overlooked it. We may not have seen it in time. We may have just stepped on the pipe while the stone was being poured over, and it may not have gotten noticed. But those quick connect clips, they keep everything organized, nice, straight. A lot easier to work your pipe slope. It's a lot easier to work with the pipe when you're pouring the stone in. All right, so the storm drain has been all cemented up real nice. You have that 4-inch main. See right here, we have the roof runoff system in the solid white pipe. We have the French drain in the blue perforated pipe. You can see we go to a 4-inch main right here because we have an intercepting 3.5-inch French drain. And then we have a quad 3.5 into a 4. We're going to be really flowing some water at this point. So we wanted to bump it up to a 4-inch. All right, so we just want to make a point right here. Do not do this. When you have your 3.5 to 4 increaser, make sure that you have it set up to where both pipes are flat on the bottom of the trench. You can see how this steps up. That's what you want right there. Really nice work. Got the roof runoff system coming through here. This downspout ties into this main, this 3.5-inch white. We got that rooftop water. We're not letting it go. This is so wet right here. We just want to take that all the way to the storm drain. We don't want to let that water go. It's so wet between these houses. Everybody just likes to run their sprinklers. So this is a French drain roof runoff system combined. One pipe is handling all the roof runoff. The other pipes are French drain perforated pipe. Now, because it's 2 pipes wide, we're going to have more stone. We're going to have a better working French drain. This is really going to dry up the yard. All right, I'm just going to do a once over. You see the 2 cleanouts. We're high up in the system. It's where it starts. You can see just how straight and in line the plumbing is. Ties right in. Everything flows. Everything's connected. We deposit all the water right where it belongs, the storm drain.
If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. It supports the channel. If you have any questions about yard drainage, leave them in the comments section. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until the next video.